Persian Gulf is on the brink. A massive US Armada, led by the aircraft carrier Abraham Lincoln, is closing in on Iranian waters. Tehran has fired back, not with missiles, but with words, warnings, and now live-fire naval drills right where American warships sit. The question the world is asking tonight: can the United States sustain a war with Iran? And what happens if it tries? To understand this crisis, you have to understand one narrow stretch of water: the Strait of Hormuz. This is the choke point through which roughly 20% of the world's oil supply passes every single day. On any given day, around 100 merchant vessels transit that strait. It is the artery of global energy. And right now, it is the flashpoint. Iran sits on one side, and Iran has made one thing clear: it will not be told how to operate in what it considers its own backyard.
نیروهای مسلح جمهوری اسلامی ایران پشت به پشت مملو از امیران، سرداران، افسران و سربازانی است که تا لحظه آخر از این کشور دفاع خواهند کرد. بدون تردید امروز چه قدرت موشکی ما، چه قدرت پدافندی ما، چه سایر ابعاد قدرت دفاعی ما نسبت به قبل از جنگ تحمیلی 12 روزه در موقعیت برتر و بالاتری هست.
When Washington rolled out its demands, Tehran pushed back hard. Iran's foreign minister pointed out the absurdity. The US is demanding professionalism from a military organization it has officially designated as a terrorist group, while simultaneously acknowledging that same organization's right to conduct drills. US Central Command issued an explicit warning to Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC. CENTCOM laid out a clear red line: no unsafe overflights of US vessels, no armed approaches, no weapons trained on American forces. The language was blunt and deliberate. But here is the critical context. The IRGC is not just any military unit. It is a designated terrorist organization under US sanctions. And yet, it is the single most powerful military force in Iran, the regime's most loyal and lethal arm. When CENTCOM tells the IRGC to stand down, it is essentially telling the backbone of Iran's entire defense apparatus to back off. That is not a warning the IRGC takes lightly. On paper, America has the firepower: at least 10 warships, 42 transport aircraft deployed in a single week, an aircraft carrier strike group, the most advanced military on the planet. But firepower is not the same as sustainability. Iran is not a distant adversary. It knows this region, the geography, the coastlines, the shallow waters. Iran's senior security officials have said plainly, they are not limiting their response to the sea. They have prepared for broader and more advanced scenarios. After surviving a 12-day war with Israel just months ago, Iran's military says its missile, air defense and offensive capabilities are now in a superior position.
در واقع ظرفیت بازدارندگی ایران هست که ما بر اساس اون میگیم که احتمال اینکه اینها حمله بکنن کمتر است. اما اگر هر گونه اقدامی صورت بگیره، حتی اقدام محدود، جمهوری اسلامی ایران با توجه به آمادگی بسیار زیادی که به ویژه با در واقع عبرت آموزی از تحولات جنگ 12 روزه انجام داده و هم در حوزه آفند هم در حوزه پدافند در تمام سطوح و در تمام قوا، اهم از قوای زمینی، دریایی، هوافضا و همچنین در حوزه فناورانه و حوزه سایبری و اطلاعاتی، طبیعتاً شرایط به گونه‌ای نیست که تصور بکنیم مثلا ترامپ میتونه یه حمله رو بکنه و بعد هم بره بلافاصله 2 ساعت بعدش یه توییتی بزنه و بگه که من کار رو تموم کردم. نه، حتما این ماجرا منجر به یک جنگ فراگیر خواهد شد، منافع بسیاری از کشورها رو در واقع درگیر خودش خواهد کرد.
And if the Strait of Hormuz is disrupted, even temporarily, global energy prices spike. Supply chains fracture. The economic fallout would hit far beyond the Middle East. Behind the threats, diplomacy is moving fast. Turkey, Qatar, Egypt, the UAE. Regional players are all making calls, all pushing for de-escalation. Turkey's President Erdogan has offered to act as a direct facilitator. Egypt's foreign minister has spoken to counterparts on both sides in the same 24 hours. And a senior Iranian official, Ali Larijani, said that contrary to the war headlines, a framework for negotiations is in fact taking shape. But the gap remains wide. Washington wants Iran to halt enrichment, cap its missiles, and pull back its proxies. Tehran has rejected every single condition.
همینطور باید قاطعانه عرض بکنم توانمندی دفاعی ایران و موشک‌های ایران هرگز موضوع هیچ مذاکره‌ای نخواهد بود. هیچ کشوری فکر می‌کنم آماده نیست که در مورد امنیت خودش و در مورد دفاع خودش بخواد با کسی دیگری مصالحه بکنه. امنیت مردم ایران به هیچ وجه به هیچ کس دیگری مربوط نیست و ما توانمندی‌های دفاعی خودمون رو به هر میزان که برای دفاع از کشور لازم باشه حفظ خواهیم کرد و گسترش خواهیم داد.
The US can project power into the Persian Gulf. It can deploy carriers and destroyers and issue warnings. But sustaining a war with Iran in Iran's own waters in a strait the world depends on is a very different calculation. The military advantage is real. The strategic, economic, and geopolitical cost could be staggering. Tonight, both sides have their fingers on the trigger. The world is watching the Strait of Hormuz and waiting to see whether diplomacy wins this race or whether the guns do. With Debagna Datta, Bureau Report, India Today Global.